Matthew Lesh, who is Head of Research at the Adam Smith Institute. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
On the line we have Alp Mehmet, who's the Chairman of Migration Watch UK. This concerns you, Alp, I gather?
It does, because we, having done a lot of work to focus on genuine students going to genuine institutions, this strikes me as a retrograde step, frankly, because all the opportunities for people to stay on in the way that Bronwyn just described are there already. They do have an opportunity to switch into employment and get a degree level job rather than being given the opportunity to stay on and do anything. Frankly, that is not what it should be about.
Okay.
Universities should be there to provide a quality of education that attracts people, not because they're looking to make money. I think that's wrong.
So why do you disagree with that, Matthew?
Look, I think that's a misunderstanding of necessarily the opportunities for graduates. I studied, I did a master's in London. It was an extremely enjoyable experience. I then went back to Australia, and I was lucky enough to be able to come back to the UK again. But many of the people I studied with just couldn't immediately after they graduate access a high enough paying job within the limits of the immigration system. And of course, Migration Watch has called for even the cap in terms of the amount of salary you need to earn to reach £35,000 a year. That's well above an average graduate salary. So what I think this 2-year visa does is provide an opportunity for people to get onto the employment ladder after they graduate and work towards building the skills necessary for that higher paid job.
So you were in this situation yourself, Matthew?
I to an extent, I was lucky enough to be able to come back, so I shouldn't complain. But
you had the 4-month window, meant you had to leave and come back, is that right?
Well, exactly. And I went back and worked in Australia first, and then I came back here.
Sure.
But I was speaking to a friend of mine, Emma, this morning. She was talking again about how she had to go back to South Africa after staying for 4 months because she couldn't find a job that would allow her to stay. And I think that's quite a common experience for graduates. And I think this is actually very important, particularly post-Brexit, for the UK to say it's open to the world, it's open to high school immigration.
What do you think about that, Alp? It's just a signal that we're not shutting our borders. It's quite a powerful signal as well.
Well, we never have had our borders shut to international
Well, you were worried
students.
they were too open, weren't you? Or you probably still are.
Yeah, but not with students. There have never been any limits on students. All we have ever said is that those coming here to study should be genuine students going to genuine colleges. And let's not forget that something like 1,000 institutions were closed because, frankly, they were bogus. And this at a time when, firstly, the OECD is saying that the government should do more to address poor performing universities, giving out poor degrees, frankly. And frankly, I just do not believe that it is necessary to attract the sort of people that is allegedly intended for, that this policy is intended for.
Matthew, with that mention of bogus institutions, we did see these foreign language schools popping up which were teaching English to people from outside the UK, and some of them sadly were bogus, weren't they?
I don't think anyone is contesting that they're bogus.
You like market forces, so I'm assuming you'd support them.
Well, I mean, they're still if all they're selling is access to the UK through language, I think that is problematic. I went to the London School of Economics, and I don't consider that to be a bogus university.
No, it's not.
And many people I studied with weren't able to stay,
But
even
here.
after studying a master's. I managed to stay, but a lot of other people didn't. And I managed to come back, and I was very fortunate to do so. But I think we have to acknowledge as well that these are the people we want to stay. The immigration is good for our economy. It boosts productivity. It provides the UK connections to the world. People will stay for a few years after they graduate, and in many cases actually go back to their countries and boost the UK into the future. And I think that's a fantastic mission of university education.
Thank you. Thank you both. Matthew Lesh from the Adam Smith Institute, Alp Mehmet, who's the chairman now of Migration Watch UK. Love your thoughts on this. So it's basically relaxing the rules on foreign students who come here and allowing them to stay longer to try and find work after they graduate.